Right, stop scrolling because what I'm about to tell you goes directly against everything the automotive industry has spent the last 5 years telling you. Diesel is supposedly dead, banned from cities, taxed punitively, replaced by electric and hybrid alternatives that are supposedly better in every way. And yet there are 9 specific diesel cars currently available on the UK used market that remain genuinely the smartest financial choice for a significant proportion of British drivers in 2026. Not nostalgic, not contrarian for the sake of it. Mathematically, mechanically, and financially the correct choice for specific driving patterns that diesel still serves better than any alternative. I want to be precise about who this applies to. If you do under 8,000 miles a year around town, this video isn't for you. Buy a hybrid. But if you regularly cover motorway distance, tow, carry heavy loads, or simply need the range and refueling speed that electric still can't match for long journeys, diesel in 2026 deserves a completely different conversation than the one the industry wants you to have. Stay with me. In 50 seconds, I'm going to tell you about a specific diesel on this list that a delivery driver in Leicester has covered 341,000 miles in on the original engine, with documented fuel costs averaging 4 pence per mile less than the equivalent petrol alternative would have cost him across that entire distance. When I tell you which car, you'll understand why diesel obituaries have been written prematurely. But first, here's the number that contextualizes everything. For drivers covering over 15,000 miles annually with significant motorway content, total cost of ownership analysis across 2026 used car data shows diesel still beating equivalent petrol by an average of £1,100 over 3 years, and beating equivalent hybrid by approximately £400 for the highest mileage drivers where hybrid's urban efficiency advantage disappears. £1,100 versus petrol, £400 versus hybrid for high motorway mileage. The numbers don't care what the industry narrative says. Subscribe right now. Drop a comment telling me your annual mileage and whether diesel still makes sense for your driving pattern, because the comments under this video are going to settle a lot of arguments people have been having in their own heads. Let's crack on. Diesel number 9, Skoda Octavia 2.0 TDI. The Octavia's 2.0 TDI represents VW Group diesel engineering at its most mature and reliable, fitted to a platform with genuinely class-leading practicality that makes the case for diesel on its own terms rather than as a compromise. A long-distance sales representative in Coventry covering 42,000 miles annually described his Octavia estate at 181,000 miles. I've calculated my actual fuel cost per mile against colleagues running petrol equivalents on the same routes. I'm consistently saving around 3.5 pence per mile. Across my annual mileage, that's approximately £1,470 a year. The diesel premium I paid at purchase was recovered within the first 8 months. Recovered within 8 months on fuel savings alone. The DPF and EGR maintenance concerns that affect diesel reliability discussions generally are significantly reduced on the Octavia specifically because of its typical usage pattern. High-mileage motorway drivers keep the DPF regenerating properly through sustained high-temperature running, avoiding the short journey clogging that creates problems for diesel owners using cars primarily for urban trips. The Octavia diesel makes sense specifically because the people buying it tend to be people whose driving pattern suits diesel, an independent VW Group specialist in Norwich explained. It's a self-selecting positive cycle. High motorway use protects the emission system. The car rewards the exact use case it's bought for. Diesel number 8, BMW 320D. The 320D remains BMW's benchmark diesel saloon, combining genuine driving engagement with the efficiency that makes it the rational choice for high-mileage drivers who don't want to sacrifice driving pleasure for economy. A business consultant in Manchester covering 38,000 miles annually across multiple client sites described why he specifically chose diesel over BMW's petrol or hybrid alternatives. I drive long motorway stretches regularly, often at sustained 70 miles an hour for 90 minutes or more. The 320D returns consistently better real-world economy than BMW's hybrid options at that specific driving pattern, because the hybrid system can't meaningfully contribute on sustained motorway cruising the way it does in stop-start urban driving. The hybrid can't meaningfully contribute on sustained motorway cruising. That's the specific gap diesel continues to fill. A BMW specialist in Plymouth, who services high-mileage 320D examples, described the reliability profile at distance. Properly maintained 320D diesels are reaching 200,000 miles, with timing chain and injector systems performing within specification. The B47 engine generation that replaced the earlier N47 resolved the timing chain issues that affected older BMW diesels. This is a genuinely different reliability proposition from what BMW diesel reputation suggests if people are thinking of older models. Diesel number 7, Volkswagen Passat 2.0 TDI. The Passat occupies a specific niche that British high-mileage drivers consistently undervalue: genuine executive saloon space and comfort at family hatchback pricing in the used market, combined with diesel efficiency that suits exactly the long-distance use case the car was engineered for. A regional manager in Bristol, covering 46,000 miles annually, described the Passat's specific value proposition. "I need a car that's comfortable for 4-hour motorway stints multiple times a week, has genuine boot space for equipment, and doesn't bankrupt me in fuel." The Passat diesel does all three for less money than almost anything else with comparable space and comfort. I'm averaging 61 miles per gallon across mixed motorway and A-road driving. 61 miles per gallon, verified across genuine mixed motorway and A-road use. The Passat's specific advantage over equivalent SUV alternatives at similar price points is aerodynamic efficiency. The lower, more streamlined saloon and estate bodies generate meaningfully better real-world economy at sustained motorway speed than SUV bodies fighting wind resistance, a factor that becomes increasingly significant the more motorway mileage a driver covers. Diesel number 6, Toyota Hilux. The Hilux represents a category where diesel's advantages over alternatives remain almost entirely unchallenged. Working pickups requiring genuine load capacity, towing capability, and refueling speed that no current electric alternative can match at comparable price. A farmer in Northumberland who runs a Hilux as his primary working vehicle described the practical case. "I need to tow a livestock trailer regularly, carry feed and equipment across rough ground, and refuel in 2 minutes when I'm working a long day. There is no electric or hybrid alternative that does any of that as well as this diesel does, at this price with this reliability." The conversation about replacing diesel doesn't apply to vehicles doing genuine working duty. A vehicle assessment specialist in Aberdeen who evaluates commercial vehicle reliability described the Hilux's documented longevity. Hilux diesels regularly exceed 300,000 miles in demanding working conditions with original engines. The 2.8-litre unit fitted to the current generation is among the most over-engineered diesels currently in production. For working applications, nothing currently available competes with it on total lifetime cost. Stop. 4 diesels that genuinely earn their place in 2026. The Octavia recovering its diesel premium within 8 months through pure fuel savings. The 320D delivering driving engagement plus efficiency that hybrid alternatives can't match on sustained motorway cruising. The Passat at 61 miles per gallon in genuine mixed use, beating SUV alternatives through aerodynamic efficiency. The Hilux doing working duty that no current electric vehicle can match at any price. 5 more to go. And these 5 include the Leicester delivery driver's car with 341,000 miles. I'll tell you which one in the next few minutes. Drop a comment right now. Tell me your annual mileage and your driving pattern. Because whether diesel makes sense depends entirely on numbers specific to you. And I want to know how many people watching this actually fit the profile where diesel still wins. Diesel number 5, Skoda Superb 2.0 TDI. The Superb extends the Octavia's value proposition into genuinely vast practical space. A car offering interior dimensions that compete with executive saloons costing twice as much, combined with diesel efficiency that makes high-mileage ownership financially compelling. A driving instructor in Cardiff covering significant daily mileage between lessons described his superb estate. "I need space for equipment, comfort for being in the car all day, and running costs that don't eat my income." The Superb diesel delivers genuinely exceptional interior space, more than most premium SUVs costing £15,000 more, and I'm averaging 63 miles per gallon across my working mileage. More space than premium SUVs costing £15,000 more at diesel efficiency. The depreciation profile on the Superb adds a financial dimension beyond running costs because the model carries less badge prestige than its German equivalents despite offering comparable mechanical substance. Used examples represent genuinely significant value that high-mileage buyers are increasingly recognizing. Diesel number 4, Ford Ranger. The Ranger occupies the same working pickup category as the Hilux, but with specific advantages in on-road driving dynamics and interior refinement that make it the preferred choice for buyers who need genuine load capability, but also use the vehicle for significant personal mileage. A self-employed builder in Exeter who uses his Ranger for both trade work and family transport described the dual-purpose case. It carries my tools and materials during the week and does the school run and weekend family trips without feeling like a compromise either direction. The diesel gives me the towing capacity I need for trade work and the range for longer family journeys without the charging infrastructure concerns that would affect an electric alternative doing the same dual duty. A commercial vehicle specialist in Leeds who services high-mileage pickups described the Ranger's reliability data. The current Ranger generation's 2.0-litre EcoBlue diesel is showing genuinely strong reliability data at high mileage in our service records. We're seeing examples past 200,000 miles with original turbochargers and injection systems performing within specification. For a vehicle doing genuine working duty, that's an excellent result. Diesel number 3, Mercedes-Benz E220D. The E220D brings premium German diesel engineering to drivers covering serious annual distance who want their daily long-distance driving to feel comfortable rather than merely tolerable. A long-distance sales director in Birmingham covering 52,000 miles annually described why the E-Class diesel specifically suited his needs. At my mileage, comfort isn't a luxury, it's a productivity requirement. I arrive at meetings genuinely rested because the E220D handles motorway distance with a refinement that lesser cars simply don't match. The diesel efficiency means my fuel cost per mile is competitive with much smaller, less comfortable alternatives. Genuinely rested at 52,000 annual miles because the diesel handles distance with refinement that smaller alternatives don't match. The Mercedes diesel reliability reputation, historically excellent, has been maintained on the current OM654 engine generation, according to specialists who service the model. The OM654 resolved many of the issues that affected earlier Mercedes diesel generations, a Mercedes specialist in Southampton confirmed. At appropriate mileage with correct servicing, these are genuinely robust engines reaching very high distance without major intervention. Diesel number 2. Volvo V90 D4. The V90 brings Scandinavian engineering philosophy, safety-focused, understated, genuinely practical, to the high-mileage diesel category, creating a vehicle that high-mileage family drivers consistently rate among the most satisfying ownership experiences across this entire list. A family of 5 in Edinburgh who chose the V90 specifically for long-distance family use described their reasoning. We do regular long journeys visiting family across the country, often 6+ hours each way. The combination of genuine estate practicality, Volvo's safety credentials and diesel efficiency that doesn't punish us on those long trips made this the obvious choice. We're averaging 59 miles per gallon across genuinely representative family use, including motorway, A-road and some urban driving. 59 miles per gallon, across genuinely representative mixed family use. An independent Volvo specialist in Glasgow who services high-mileage D4 examples described the engine's specific reliability profile. The D4's 4-cylinder diesel, shared architecture across multiple Volvo applications, is showing consistently strong reliability data at high mileage. Turbocharger and injection system longevity at distances above 150,000 miles is genuinely impressive for the segment. Diesel number 1, Skoda Superb 2.0 TDI. This is the Leicester delivery driver's car. Marcus runs a courier operation covering Leicester and the surrounding region. Daily long-distance routes, significant motorway mileage demanding professional use where downtime directly costs income. He bought his Superb Estate diesel in 2021 with 31,000 miles for £14,200. In 2026, that car has 341,000 miles on the original engine, original turbocharger, and original injection system. His documented fuel cost analysis, kept meticulously because his business depends on understanding his per-mile costs precisely, shows average consumption of 61.4 miles per gallon across the entire distance covered. I track every fill-up against every mile driven, Marcus explained. Across 310,000 miles of professional use since purchase, my average fuel cost per mile has been 11.2 pence. A colleague running an equivalent petrol estate on similar routes has documented his fuel cost per mile at 15.6 pence over the same period. That's a 4.4 pence per mile difference. Across 310,000 miles, that's £13,640 in fuel savings. £13,640 in fuel savings alone, against the petrol alternative he could have bought instead. His total non-fuel repair costs across 310,000 miles of professional use. One DPF regeneration system component at 190,000 miles, one set of injectors at 270,000 miles, and routine consumables. The total non-consumable repair spend across that distance is just under £3,000. For a vehicle that's earned me my living for 5 years and covered more distance than most cars will see in their entire lifetime, that's an extraordinary result. An independent diesel specialist in Leicester who has serviced Marcus's Superb throughout its ownership described the broader pattern he observes. High-mileage motorway diesel use is genuinely the use case this technology was engineered for. The DPF stays clean because it's regenerating properly at sustained motorway temperature. The turbocharger and injection system operate within their efficient range rather than the stop-start stress that damages diesel systems in urban use. Marcus's car isn't an exceptional outlier. It's diesel technology operating exactly as intended. Operating exactly as intended. That's the case for diesel in 2026, summarized by someone who services these engines for a living. People ask me if I regret buying diesel given everything you hear about it being finished, Marcus said. I tell them I've saved £13,500 in fuel alone compared to petrol, spent under £3,000 on repairs across 310,000 miles, and I'm still driving the same engine 5 years later. The narrative says diesel is dead. My bank account says something completely different. Right then, 9 diesel cars still genuinely worth buying in Britain in 2026. Number 9, Skoda Octavia 2.0 TDI. Diesel premium recovered within 8 months through fuel savings alone. £1,470 annual saving for genuine high-mileage drivers. Number 8, BMW 320D. Driving engagement plus efficiency that hybrid alternatives can't match on sustained motorway cruising. 200,000-mile reliability on the current B47 engine generation. Number 7. Volkswagen Passat 2.0 TDI, 61 miles per gallon through aerodynamic efficiency that SUV alternatives can't match at sustained motorway speed. Number 6. Toyota Hilux. Working capability that no current electric alternative matches at any price, 300,000-mile documented longevity. Number 5, Skoda Superb 2.0 TDI. More interior space than premium SUVs, costing £15,000 more, 63 miles per gallon in working professional use. Number 4, Ford Ranger, dual-purpose working and family use, 200,000-mile reliability data on current generation diesel. Number 3, Mercedes E220D, genuine executive refinement making high motorway mileage effortless rather than tolerable. OM654 engine resolving earlier Mercedes diesel reliability concerns. Number 2, Volvo V90 D4, Scandinavian safety architecture combined with 59 miles per gallon across genuine representative family use. Number 1, Skoda Superb 2.0 TDI, Marcus's car, 341,000 miles, £13,640 in documented fuel savings versus petrol, under £3,000 in non-consumable repairs. Diesel technology operating exactly as engineered. The pattern across all 9 is consistent. Diesel remains the financially and mechanically correct choice, specifically for drivers covering significant annual mileage with substantial motorway content, where sustained running keeps emission systems clean, and where fuel efficiency advantages compound across genuine distance. The narrative that diesel is universally finished ignores the specific use cases where it remains unambiguously the best available technology. If you do under 8,000 miles a year around town, none of this applies to you. Hybrid remains the better choice, but if your driving pattern matches what's been described across these 9 cars, the industry narrative and your actual financial interests have diverged significantly. Drop a comment, tell me your annual mileage and driving pattern, and whether diesel makes sense for you based on what you've just heard, because the honest answer is different for every individual driver, and that nuance gets lost in blanket industry messaging. Subscribe and hit the notification bell. Right then, that's it from me today. Thanks for watching, and remember, the right fuel type was never about ideology, it was always about your specific miles. See you next time, cheers! See you next time, cheers! See you next time, cheers!